Real asking is not begging. It is not desperation. It is not a performance to prove your worth. Real asking is clarity. Real asking is calmness. Real asking is confidence expressed through steady words and grounded presence. And once you understand this, the way people respond to you begins to change in ways you never imagined. Most people don't receive what they want, not because they are unworthy, not because the world is unfair, but because no one ever taught them how to ask. Since childhood, many of us were trained to stay quiet, to not disturb others, to solve everything alone so we could appear strong. We were taught to hide our needs, to downplay our desires, to avoid looking vulnerable. So when life requires us to speak up, we carry the weight of fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of judgment, the fear of looking needy, emotional, or weak. But here's the truth. You are not weak when you ask. You are weak when you stay silent about what matters. You are weak when you deny the help, guidance, or support that could change your life. Silence steals more opportunities than rejection ever will. Asking is not about begging for approval. Asking is facing your desire with honesty and speaking it with a calm, steady tone. It is choosing truth over pride. It is choosing clarity over fear. It is choosing courage over the illusion of self-sufficiency. Because you understand one simple fact. You have the right to be heard. You have the right to make a request. You have the right to seek what aligns with your growth. There is a reason why people who ask tend to progress faster. It is not because they are better or luckier. It is because they move life forward by initiating. They don't wait. They don't hint. They don't hope someone magically understands their needs. They step forward and speak with intention. Think about it. Every breakthrough in your life began with a question for a chance, a question for guidance, a question for help, a question for clarity, a question that opened a door you couldn't open alone. Life shifts when you shift, and the very first shift is always a question. But to ask powerfully, you must master 3 things. You must know exactly what you're asking for. You must ask with the right energy, and you must detach from the outcome. Because when you ask from fear, your energy trembles. When you ask from lack, people feel the pressure. When you ask from desperation, the thing you want moves further away. But when you ask from calmness, when you ask from a place of self-respect and inner steadiness, the world responds differently. People feel safe around calm energy. They trust it more. They open to it more. The next 90 minutes are not about hype or motivational noise. This is not a speech meant to make you feel good for a moment. This is a journey inward. Asking is emotional discipline. Asking is inner clarity. Asking is self-leadership. It is the skill that determines the quality of your connections, your opportunities, your career, and your relationships. In this audiobook, you will learn how to ask without fear, how to express your needs without shrinking, how to make a request without making people uncomfortable, how to speak with calm authority instead of anxious urgency. You will understand why sometimes a no isn't rejection. It's timing, clarity, or energy. And you will learn to handle that no with maturity, dignity, and steadiness. We will walk through 10 chapters. Each chapter removes a layer of fear. Each chapter builds a layer of confidence. Each chapter trains a different part of your emotional intelligence. You will learn to face the fear of asking, to identify your real needs, to release pride, shame, and ego, to ask with calm, grounded energy, to be specific and direct, to communicate value instead of pressure, to master timing, to detach from outcomes, to handle rejection with strength. And finally, to become the kind of person people naturally say yes to. This is not the art of manipulation. This is not about forcing outcomes. This is the art of alignment, of asking in a way that honors you and respects the other person. It is the art of clarity, presence, and sincerity. Asking does not change who you are. It reveals the stronger, braver version of you that has been buried under years of silence. It reminds you that receiving begins with expressing, and that everything you want becomes possible the moment you dare to speak it. So take a breath, settle your mind, and enter this journey with openness. Ask clearly, ask calmly, ask without fear. Chapter 1. Face the fear of asking. Most people never ask for what they truly want, not because they're incapable, but because they're afraid. Afraid of rejection, afraid of judgment, afraid of looking weak, needy, or unworthy. This fear runs deeper than people admit, and for many, it shapes their entire life without them ever noticing. We were raised to hold our needs inside. We learned, directly or indirectly, that asking makes us a burden. Speaking up makes us difficult. That showing desire makes us vulnerable. By the time we become adults, silence feels safer than expression. Avoidance feels safer than honesty. Holding everything in feels easier than risking a moment of exposure. But silence steals more opportunities than rejection ever will. You know this truth. You've felt it. You've lived it. There's something you want, something real, something meaningful. Yet when the moment arrives to ask for it, your nerve collapses. Your voice weakens. Your mind spirals into imagined consequences. You picture someone frowning, someone dismissing you, someone saying no, and you retreat before the moment even begins. This fear doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're wired for survival. Your nervous system is built to avoid shame and social disapproval. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to outgrow the instincts that no longer serve you. Because those instincts, if left unchallenged, will trap you inside a life that remains smaller than your potential. You cannot receive what you're too afraid to ask for. Let that truth settle. People who get what they want aren't always more talented or more deserving. They're simply more willing to speak their needs out loud. They open doors with their words instead of hoping someone else notices their silence. They treat asking like a skill, not a gamble. You can do the same. But first, you have to confront the fear that stops your voice. Not through force, not through denial, through awareness. Fear grows in the dark. It weakens when examined. And the moment you walk toward it instead of away from it, it begins to lose its grip. Picture this. You stand before a door that leads to your next chapter. You can feel the potential behind it. Opportunity, connection, progress. But that door opens only when you knock. Your hand hovers in the air, inches from action, yet frozen by imagined consequences. The fear isn't in the door. The fear is in the distance between your intention and your action. Asking is that action. The moment you do it, the fear breaks. To reach that moment, you need a practice that strengthens your courage internally, not externally. A method that trains your mind to stay steady instead of shrinking. Identify what you've been afraid to ask. You don't have to write anything down. Just look inward. Think of the things you've avoided saying. Think of the needs you've hoped someone else would magically understand. Think of the opportunities you let pass because you convinced yourself, maybe later. Clarity begins the moment you stop running from your desires. Ask for one small thing today. Keep it simple. Ask for a clearer explanation. Ask for someone's time. Ask for help lifting something. Ask for a minor adjustment, a small preference, or a tiny favor. The goal isn't the request. The goal is the act of asking. Every small ask builds emotional tolerance. Every small ask teaches your nervous system that vulnerability is survivable. Every small ask strengthens your voice for bigger moments ahead. Notice your physical reactions. Instead of obeying them before you ask, pay attention internally. Does your chest tighten? Does your breath shorten? Does your mind rush? Does your body tense as if danger is near? These reactions are old patterns, not present threats. When you observe them instead of obeying them, you reclaim control from your fear. This is how courage is built, not from eliminating fear, but from moving anyway. As you practice, remember that asking will never feel completely comfortable, and it doesn't need to. Comfort is not the goal. Growth is. People waste years waiting for a moment when asking won't feel scary. That moment doesn't exist. What exists is the choice to act despite fear, to choose your future over your fear, your voice over your silence, your possibilities over your imagination of rejection. You deserve a life where your needs have a voice. You deserve relationships where your feelings matter. You deserve opportunities that open because you step toward them. And this chapter is the first step. Let yourself imagine a life where asking is natural, not terrifying. Imagine relationships where expressing your needs earns respect instead of judgment. Imagine walking into conversations with quiet confidence instead of silent hesitation. Imagine doors opening simply because you knocked. This isn't fantasy. It's what happens when you face the fear that has ruled you for so long. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be honest. Honest about what you want. Honest about what you feel. Honest about the simple truth that asking is not weakness. It is self-respect in motion. And when the fear rises, as it always will, remind yourself. Fear is not a stop sign. Fear is a doorway. Walk through it. Fear fades when you face it. Chapter 2. Know what you're really asking for. You cannot ask clearly if you do not know what you truly want. And most people don't actually know. They think they do. They believe their desires are obvious. But when they look deeper, what they want on the surface is rarely what they need underneath. This is why asking feels confusing, intimidating, or overwhelming. You don't just fear the act of asking. You fear asking for the wrong thing. You fear misidentifying the real need. You fear exposing something that isn't fully formed in your mind yet. If your desire is unclear, your voice becomes unclear too. And unclear asking leads to inconsistent results. Clarity is not automatic. Clarity is a decision. Every request you make has a deeper layer beneath it. You're rarely asking for the thing itself. You're asking for what the thing represents. People don't ask for money. They ask for stability, freedom, or a sense of control. People don't ask for attention. They ask to feel seen, valued, or emotionally safe. People don't ask for a favor. They ask for support, partnership, or reassurance. When you don't understand the deeper need, you end up making the wrong request, and the wrong request leads to the wrong outcome. Imagine someone saying, "I want more time," but what they actually want is less stress. Imagine someone saying, "I want a new job," but what they actually want is respect. Imagine someone saying, "I want love," but what they actually want is emotional safety. If you misunderstand your own desires, you will communicate them in the wrong direction. This is why inner clarity is the foundation of powerful asking. You cannot articulate what you cannot identify. Before you speak to others, you must be willing to speak honestly to yourself. Clarity feels uncomfortable at first because it asks you to remove the excuses, stories, and illusions that hide your real motivations. You must look at the need beneath the want, and that requires honesty many people avoid. But clarity is liberation. Clarity gives direction. Clarity makes asking simple, direct, and confident. Picture yourself walking into a store. If you say, "I want something nice," the salesperson can't help you. If you say, "I'm not sure, maybe something interesting," the confusion continues. But the moment you say, "I want this specific thing for this specific reason," everything becomes easy. Life is the same way. People aren't mind readers. They don't know what to give you if you don't know what to ask for. Vague asking creates vague outcomes. Precise asking creates precise results. The good news is this: clarity can be trained. It is not a gift, it is a skill. Practice. Name the desire, then name the need. Think of something you want to ask for. Then go one level deeper. What emotion sits underneath that wanting? Are you asking for convenience? Or are you asking for support? Are you asking for approval? Or are you asking for partnership? Are you asking for control? Or are you asking for relief? When you know the deeper layer, you know the real request. Practice. Remove the story and stay with the truth. Many people attach long explanations to their desires. They justify, they apologize, they hide the truth under layers of extra words. But truthful asking requires simplicity, not storytelling. Ask yourself, what is the truth beneath this request? Then say that truth, directly, calmly, confidently. No excuses, no over-explaining, no performance, just clarity. Practice. Make your request one sentence, not a monologue. Confusion hides inside long sentences. Clarity lives in short ones. If you struggle to ask for something in one sentence, you're not clear enough. If you need paragraphs to explain your desire, you don't yet understand it. One sentence forces focus. One sentence forces precision. One sentence reveals the truth. When your request becomes clear to you, it becomes clear to the world. Practice. Separate what you want from what you think you're allowed to want. This is where many people get stuck. They adjust their desires to be reasonable. They aim lower to avoid disappointment. They convince themselves that wanting too much is embarrassing. But there is a difference between unrealistic expectations and suppressed desires, and many people confuse the two. Your desire doesn't need permission. It needs expression. When you downplay what you want, you are not being humble. You are being dishonest with yourself. Clarity means telling the truth about what you want, even if it scares you, even if it feels big, even if you fear someone will judge you for it. If you cannot admit your desire to yourself, you will never be able to ask for it from anyone else. Practice. Test your clarity by imagining the outcome. Ask yourself, if I receive exactly what I'm asking for, will it give me what I actually need? If the answer is no, then you're asking for the wrong thing. If the answer is partly, then the request needs refinement. If the answer is yes, then the path becomes clear. This simple test prevents miscommunication, disappointment, and confusion on both sides. The clearer you are with yourself, the easier asking becomes. The easier asking becomes, the easier receiving becomes. When you know what you truly want, fear begins to shrink, because clarity gives confidence. Clarity removes hesitation. Clarity eliminates the shaky energy that makes asking feel risky. You stand taller, your voice stabilizes, your presence strengthens, and people feel that shift. They respond differently when your request carries purpose instead of uncertainty. They trust your intention, they understand your direction, they can give you what you actually need. Everything changes when your desire becomes unmistakable. What am I really asking for? What need sits beneath my request? And does my request match my real desire? These questions are the heart of this chapter. Powerful asking begins with powerful understanding. You cannot ask for the right thing if you are confused about the truth inside you. Clarity is not loud. Clarity is not dramatic. Clarity is not emotional chaos. Clarity is quiet. Clarity is steady. Clarity is precise. And when you speak from that place, people listen differently. They respond differently. They trust you differently. Because you finally trust yourself. You receive more when you ask for the right thing. Chapter 3. Remove pride, shame, and ego. The greatest barrier to asking is not fear. It is pride. The second barrier is shame, and the third is ego. These three forces sit quietly inside you, shaping your choices without making a sound. Pride whispers that you should handle everything alone. Shame tells you that your needs make you weak. Ego convinces you that asking is beneath you. Together, they form a wall that separates you from the support, connection, and growth you deserve. Most people avoid asking not because the task is difficult, but because these inner forces distort their perception of what asking actually means. Pride says, if I ask, I lose status. Shame says, if I ask, I reveal too much. Ego says, if I ask, I give others power over me. But none of these messages are true. They are emotional illusions created by old wounds, old experiences, and old beliefs you've never questioned. Pride protects your image, not your well-being. Shame protects your secrets, not your future. Ego protects your identity, not your growth. These forces keep you small, they keep you silent, they keep you from forming deeper connections with the people who could help you, guide you, or support you. They convince you that self-reliance is strength, even when it becomes self-sabotage. There is a moment in every person's life when pride becomes too heavy to carry, when shame becomes too loud to ignore, when ego becomes too fragile to maintain. That moment is usually when life finally forces you to confront the truth. You cannot grow without letting yourself be seen. Asking is not a sign of weakness. Asking is a sign of self-respect. Picture someone drowning in deep water but refusing to call for help. They try to stay afloat while insisting, "I'm fine." Their pride tells them that admitting struggle is failure. Their ego tells them that needing rescue is humiliating. Their shame tells them that asking for help would expose their limits, and so they sink, slowly, quietly, unnecessarily. Now picture the same person lifting their head, raising their hand, and calling out. That moment of honesty becomes the reason they survive. Not because someone saved them, but because they allowed themselves to be saved. This is the emotional truth behind every meaningful ask. You cannot be supported if you pretend you don't need support. Practice. Identify which voice holds you back. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, when I hesitate to ask for something important, what emotion rises first? Is it the stiffness of pride? Is it the tightness of shame? Is it the defensiveness of ego? Each one feels different. Pride feels rigid. It tells you that you must do everything alone because independence is part of your identity. Shame feels heavy. It tells you that your needs are too much, too complicated, or too embarrassing. Ego feels sharp. It tells you that if you ask, people will have power over you. Identifying the voice is the first step in disarming it. Practice. Rewrite the meaning of asking. Most people grew up associating asking with weakness, but that belief collapses when you redefine the act itself. Asking is not, "I can't do this." Asking is, "I care enough about this to do it the right way." Asking is not, "I am incapable." Asking is, "I am intentional." You rewrite the meaning by shifting your internal narrative. Instead of saying, "If I ask, they'll think less of me," tell yourself, "If I ask clearly, they will understand me better." Instead of saying, "If I ask, I'll look needy," remind yourself, honest communication creates strong relationships. Instead of saying, "I must figure this out alone," consider, collaboration leads to better outcomes. This shift doesn't happen instantly. It happens through repeated truth-telling. Practice. Lower your guard without losing your strength. One of the biggest misconceptions about asking is that vulnerability equals weakness. In reality, vulnerability is a form of honesty, and honesty is the foundation of emotional strength. Lowering your guard doesn't mean lowering your standards. It doesn't mean allowing yourself to be disrespected. It simply means allowing yourself to be human, allowing yourself to express a need without apologizing for it, allowing yourself to be real, not polished. You are strongest when you no longer need to prove strength. Practice. Speak the need without the mask. Most people speak in circles around what they want. They add disclaimers. They soften their voice. They wrap the request in unnecessary politeness. This is the mask, the attempt to protect the ego from possible rejection. But masks make communication harder, not easier. Masks confuse people. Masks hide the truth. Speaking without the mask sounds like this. This is what I need. This is why it matters. This is how you can help. You are not demanding. You are not begging. You are expressing. Practice. Let your humanity lead. You will never outgrow your need for connection. You will never outgrow your need for clarity. You will never outgrow your need to feel supported. These are not flaws. These are the natural truths of being human. Let your humanity lead when you ask. Not your pride, not your shame, not your ego. People respond to honesty because it is rare. People respect clarity because it is trustworthy. People open up to authenticity because it invites genuine connection. When you show your humanity, you invite others to show theirs. Prompt. Reflect with courage. Ask yourself with complete honesty, what emotion stops me from expressing what I want? Where did I learn that asking is embarrassing? What part of me is afraid of being seen too clearly? These questions reveal the shadows behind your hesitation. They turn avoidance into awareness. Awareness becomes strength, and strength makes asking natural. You no longer hide behind your image. You no longer protect a fragile identity. You no longer choose silence to avoid vulnerability. You choose truth. You choose clarity. You choose growth. Because at the end of it all, pride will not build your future. Shame will not build your confidence. Ego will not build your relationships, but asking will. You are not less when you ask. You become more. You become more honest, more connected, more powerful. And this chapter becomes the turning point. Asking is self-respect in motion. Chapter 4. Ask with calm energy, not desperation. People don't respond to your words. They respond to your energy. You can say all the right things, but if you say them with tension, fear, or emotional pressure, the message changes. Your tone changes, your presence changes, and the person listening feels something is off, even if they can't explain why. Desperation is loud, even when the words are quiet. Calmness is powerful, even when the words are soft. Asking is not just about what you say. It is about what you radiate. When you ask from a place of calm, grounded confidence, people naturally lean in. When you ask from a place of panic or neediness, people instinctively pull away. Humans are wired to feel the emotional state behind the request. We sense urgency. We sense insecurity. We sense fear. And we sense calm. This chapter is about mastering that calm. Not the fake kind that hides panic beneath a smile. Not the forced kind that tries to appear strong. But the real calm that comes from inner steadiness. A calm that allows you to ask without shrinking, without clinging, and without performing. Calm energy is confidence. Desperate energy is pressure. And no one responds well to pressure. Every time you ask for something, the emotional temperature of the moment shifts. If your energy spikes with need, the other person feels responsible for your emotional stability. They feel trapped. They feel obligated. They feel like saying yes would mean carrying the weight of your emotions. That's why desperate asking pushes people away. Not because the request is wrong, but because the energy is heavy. Calm asking, on the other hand, feels light. It feels intentional. It feels respectful of both sides. When your voice is steady, your posture relaxed, and your request grounded, people feel safe enough to respond honestly. You're not forcing them. You're not clinging to them. You're not depending on them for emotional survival. You're simply expressing a need with confidence. Picture two versions of the same moment. In the first version, someone rushes in, speaking too fast, shoulders tense, eyes darting. Their voice wavers, and the request pours out like a plea. The listener immediately feels uneasy, not because the request is unreasonable, but because the energy carries urgency and fear. Now picture the second version, the same request, but spoken slowly. Steady breath, clear tone, relaxed shoulders, grounded presence. The listener feels respected, not pressured. They feel invited, not cornered. The difference is not the words. The difference is the energy. Practice. Slow down before you speak. When you feel the urge to ask for something, pause. Take one slow breath, then another. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. Let your mind settle. Calmness is physical before it becomes emotional. Your body teaches your voice how to sound. A single slow breath can turn desperation into clarity. Practice. Remove emotional weight from your request. You don't need to perform. You don't need to justify excessively. You don't need to signal that your happiness depends on the answer. State your request simply, clearly, and without emotional attachment. This is what I'm asking. This is why it matters. This is what it helps accomplish. The less emotional weight you place on the moment, the more comfortable the other person feels responding. Practice. Focus on presence, not perfection. Many people try so hard to say the perfect words that they lose sincerity. Their mind races, their voice tightens, their energy becomes chaotic. Presence matters more than perfection. When you are fully present in the moment, grounded, aware, relaxed, you naturally communicate with strength and clarity. You no longer chase the perfect script. You simply express the truth. Practice. Ask from wholeness, not lack. Before you speak, check your energy. Are you asking because you are afraid? Are you asking because you feel incomplete? Are you asking because you want reassurance? Or are you asking because the request is aligned, clear, and meaningful? When you ask from lack, your request carries anxiety. When you ask from wholeness, your request carries confidence. Wholeness is not perfection. Wholeness is self-respect. Practice. Protect the other person's emotional freedom. This is the secret few people understand. People say yes more often when they feel free to say no. If your energy communicates that you will collapse, panic, or fall apart if they decline, you remove their emotional freedom, and people resist that. But if your energy communicates, "I'll be okay either way," you create space for honesty, and honesty builds trust. Calm energy says, "I want this. I'm confident asking for it. And I respect whatever answer comes." This is emotional maturity. This is true inner strength. Prompt, reflect with honesty. What does my energy feel like when I ask for something? Do I create pressure without realizing it? Does my presence make the moment feel safe or heavy? These questions require courage. They ask you to examine not just your words, but your embodiment. Not just your request, but your energy. When you understand your emotional presence, you gain control over the experience of asking. You no longer depend on anxiety to guide you. You no longer allow fear to twist your tone. You no longer approach people with urgency that repels them. You ask with steady strength. You ask with quiet certainty. You ask with a calm energy that says, "I am grounded, I am clear, and I'm not defined by this moment." When you ask like this, something shifts in the room. People feel it. They trust you more. They understand you more. They respect you more. Because calm energy communicates maturity. It communicates stability. It communicates self-worth. And the world responds to someone who knows how to hold their own emotional center. Calm energy invites yes. Desperate energy repels it. Ask from the place within you that is steady, not scared. Ask from the place within you that is whole, not lacking. Ask from the place within you that trusts itself, not the outcome. This is how powerful asking begins. This is how confident communication develops. This is how you move from seeking approval to expressing truth. Most people try to get what they want by increasing their intensity, but real influence grows when you decrease your emotional pressure. Strength is not loud. Strength is calm. Strength is grounded. Strength is clear. And when your strength speaks, people listen. Calm energy gets yes. Chapter 5. The power of specific asking. Most people don't get what they want because they don't ask specifically enough. They ask vaguely, hoping others will fill in the blanks. But no one can fill in the blanks for you. Vague asking creates confusion. Confusion creates hesitation. Hesitation creates distance, and distance creates disappointment. When you say things like, "Can you help me?" or "I need something," you leave the other person guessing. Guessing leads to misunderstandings, and misunderstandings lead to outcomes that don't match what you had in mind. Specificity removes guessing. Specificity removes friction. Specificity removes the emotional fog that makes communication harder than it needs to be. Specific asking is powerful because it removes uncertainty, for you and for the person listening. When you clearly state what you want, when you want it, and why it matters, people can respond with confidence instead of confusion. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates cooperation. This applies to every area of life. Work, relationships, collaboration, support, opportunities. People want to help you, but they need guidance. They need direction. They need to understand exactly what success looks like. Imagine someone asking you, "Can you help me with this project?" Your mind immediately raises questions. What exactly do they need? How long will it take? What role should I play? What does help mean to them? Now imagine someone saying, "Can you review this document for grammar and send feedback by 3 p.m.? You understand immediately. You know the task. You know the expectation. You know the timeline. Specific asking eliminates friction. Vague asking creates it. Picture a spotlight shining on a dark stage. The brighter and narrower the beam, the clearer the focus. The dimmer and wider the beam, the more everything blurs together. Specificity is the spotlight that sharpens the moment. The human brain likes clarity because clarity reduces cognitive load. When your request is specific, the listener doesn't have to decode, interpret, or assume anything. They simply respond. That makes everything easier for both sides. Practice. Define the exact request before you say it. Before you speak, ask yourself, what exactly am I asking for? What does the final result look like? What action do I want them to take? If you cannot answer these questions clearly, you are not ready to ask. Because if you are unclear with yourself, you will be unclear with others. Specific asking begins inside your mind before it becomes words. Practice. Keep the request short, direct, and concrete. Specific asking uses simple language, not long explanations. Say what you need in clear terms. I need. I want. Could you do? Please send. Short sentences create strong requests. Long, winding explanations turn into emotional fog. Clarity is simplicity. Simplicity is strength. Practice. Communicate the timeline. Most vague requests fail because they lack timing. People don't know whether you mean now, later, tomorrow, or whenever. If time matters, state it. If timing is flexible, state that too. By the end of the day, before the meeting. Sometime this week. When you have a moment, no rush. These details remove confusion, and removing confusion builds trust. Practice. Explain the purpose without over-explaining. Specific asking often includes the why, but the why should be concise, not a story. This helps me finish the report. This supports the team. This helps us stay aligned. Purpose creates context, and context increases cooperation. But too much context becomes noise. Practice. Describe the finish line, not the entire road. People don't need every detail. They need the destination. What does success look like? That's the real question you must answer. When you describe the finish line, the specific outcome, you give others a clear target. The how can be flexible. The what must be precise. Specificity unlocks efficiency. Specificity unlocks alignment. Specificity unlocks better results. Practice. Speak with grounded confidence, not apology. Many people weaken their requests by apologizing or minimizing them. They say, "Sorry, could you maybe? I hate to bother you, but..." If it's not too much trouble. These phrases dilute clarity. They diminish confidence. They transform simple requests into emotional puzzles. Specific asking is not demanding. It is not aggressive. It is not controlling. It is neutral clarity expressed with respect. The tone is, "This is what I need. This is when I need it. And thank you." This kind of clarity feels strong but not harsh, direct but not pushy, precise but not cold. Prompt. Reflect on your communication patterns. Ask yourself, do I expect others to guess what I want? Do I stay vague because I fear sounding too direct? Do I avoid clarity because I fear being judged? These patterns often begin in childhood, from environments where speaking directly felt risky. But adulthood requires a different skill set. It asks for emotional maturity, not emotional guessing. It asks for honest communication, not hidden expectations. Prompt. Reflect on how clarity would change your life. What would improve if you asked more specifically? Your relationships, your career, your teamwork, your ability to get what you actually want. Specific asking prevents resentment because it prevents misunderstanding. It prevents disappointment because it prevents misalignment. It creates stronger trust because it creates clearer expectations. The world responds better to clear signals than blurry ones. When you speak clearly, people listen differently. When you ask precisely, people respond more effectively. When you remove vagueness, you remove unnecessary conflict. Your life becomes simpler, your interactions become smoother, your results become sharper, because you finally stopped hoping people would figure it out and you started guiding them with clarity. Clarity increases your odds. Specificity strengthens your voice, and specific asking changes everything. Say what you need. Say it clearly. Say it directly. And watch how the world answers you with more accuracy, more respect, and more support than ever before. Clarity creates results. Chapter 6. Communicate value, not demand. People don't say yes because you ask. They say yes because your request feels respectful, clear, and valuable. Most requests fail because they feel like pressure instead of partnership. Even when the words are polite, the energy behind them can feel heavy. Rushed tone, anxious urgency, or subtle entitlement. People sense when they're being pulled, pushed, or cornered. And the natural human response to pressure is resistance. When you communicate value, everything shifts. Your request feels lighter. The moment feels safer. The other person feels considered instead of used. Value is not manipulation. Value is clarity. It means showing why the request matters, not in a dramatic way, but in a grounded, purposeful way. When someone understands how their contribution makes a difference, their willingness to help rises naturally. People want to feel helpful, not obligated. Imagine someone asking you, "Can you do this?" with no context, no gratitude, no clarity. Now imagine someone saying, "Your input will make this stronger. Could you take a look?" Same task, completely different emotional impact. Value invites cooperation. Demand invites resistance. To communicate value, begin by slowing your tone. Let the person feel that you are speaking with intentionality, not desperation. A calm voice shows that you respect their time, not claim it. Appreciation also plays a role. Not flattery, but honest acknowledgement. A simple, "I appreciate your help," reshapes the emotional atmosphere. People respond better when they feel autonomous. Give them space. Phrases like, "If this works for you," or "when you have a moment," protect their freedom. When someone feels free to decline, they're more comfortable saying yes. Your energy is part of the message. If you ask with tension, they feel tension. If you ask with calmness, they feel calmness. If you ask with respect, they feel respected. Communicating value also means sharing the purpose without oversharing. You don't need long explanations that create emotional fog. You only need clarity. This helps us move forward. Your insight improves this. This keeps us aligned. Simplicity is strength. Respect is influence. Value is persuasion. People are far more likely to help when helping feels meaningful. And they are far more willing to say yes when the request comes from someone who leads with maturity instead of entitlement. When you communicate value, you elevate the moment. When you communicate value, you elevate the relationship. And when you communicate value, the world becomes more open to supporting you. Chapter 7. The Timing Principle. A good request at the wrong time becomes a bad request. Timing doesn't just influence the outcome, it shapes it. Right timing turns asking into a connection. Wrong timing turns it into conflict. Most people focus only on what they want to say. They rarely consider when they should say it. But timing is a quiet force that determines whether your words land with clarity or collide with resistance. You can be clear, respectful, and calm, yet still get a no simply because the moment was misaligned. Humans are emotional beings. We react not only to the message, but to the moment. And some moments simply cannot receive a request, no matter how well crafted it is. Timing is about emotional awareness. Timing is about reading the room. Timing is about understanding when a person's mind and heart are open and when they are not. This chapter teaches you how to sense the right moment, not force it. Imagine someone interrupting you while you are stressed, busy, or mentally overloaded. Even a small request feels heavy because your emotional bandwidth is low. Now imagine the same person approaching you when your energy is lighter, calmer, more open. The request feels easier. Nothing about the request changed, only the timing. People don't reject requests. People reject pressure placed at the wrong time. Timing is respect in motion. It communicates that you see the other person. It shows you're not trapped in your own urgency. It signals emotional maturity. When you ask at the right time, your words flow into an open space. When you ask at the wrong time, your words collide with a closed door. Picture a river. When the tide is rising, the water lifts everything naturally. But when the tide is falling, pushing forward becomes struggle. Asking works the same way. The emotional tide matters. Before you ask for anything, observe the person. Are they tense, distracted, rushed, irritated, preoccupied? Their body language gives clues you cannot ignore. Tension in the face, short answers, fast movements, closed posture. These are signs the emotional weather is stormy. You don't sail during a storm, you wait for calmer water. Every interaction contains small windows, moments when the other person relaxes, pauses, or transitions between tasks. These are powerful openings. People are more receptive when they have just finished something, not when they are deep in the middle of it. After a meeting, between tasks, during a break, in a natural lull in the conversation. These windows matter more than most people realize. Many people ruin their chances by pushing at the exact moment someone is closing off emotionally. Forcing a request does not speed up an answer, it slows down trust. When you sense resistance, step back, not forward. Pausing is not weakness. Pausing is strategic maturity. You don't lose power by waiting. You gain influence by respecting timing. A soft starter opens the emotional space gently. A harsh starter slams into the other person's attention. Soft starters sound like, "Is this a good moment? When you have a minute, I'd like to ask something. Let me know if now works." These statements protect the other person's autonomy, which increases their willingness to engage. If someone is calm, match calm. If someone is energized, match energy but stay grounded. If someone is moving fast, slow yourself even more. They need anchoring, not more speed. Matching pace builds connection. Rushing over someone's emotional rhythm breaks it. The more important the request, the more important the timing. Asking during emotionally unstable moments leads to emotionally unstable answers. If the outcome will shape your future, a raise, a commitment, a decision, give timing your full respect. The question is not, when do I want to ask? The question is, when is the moment most supportive for both of us? That is emotional intelligence in practice. Sometimes the moment is simply wrong. You can sense it. The energy is off. The space is tight. The person is distracted or drained. In those situations, protecting the relationship matters more than forcing the ask. A delayed request can still succeed. A poorly timed one can damage trust. Timing is not defeat. Timing is strategy. Ask yourself, do I rush my requests because of my own anxiety? Do I ignore emotional cues because I'm focused on my needs? Do I speak before sensing whether the moment is open? Awareness reveals the habits that sabotage your communication. Think about the arguments that could have been avoided if timing had been better. Think about the opportunities that slipped away because urgency overshadowed awareness. Think about the clarity you could invite into your relationships simply by choosing the right moment to speak. Good timing is not luck. Good timing is observation. Good timing is patience. Good timing is mastery. Right timing opens doors that force cannot. When you respect the moment respects your request. Chapter 8. Ask without attachment to the outcome. The moment you cling to the answer, you lose your power, because asking is strongest when it stands without fear of the outcome. Most people don't struggle with the words. They struggle with the emotional grip behind those words. They ask with pressure, hoping for certainty, needing a yes to feel validated. But when your sense of worth depends on the answer, you place your confidence in someone else's hands. And that is where asking becomes weakness instead of strength. Detachment is not indifference. Detachment is emotional freedom. It means you can want something without needing it to define you. You can express your desire without losing balance if the answer goes the other way. You remain whole regardless of what comes back to you. When you cling to outcomes, your energy grows tight. Your voice shifts. Your presence becomes heavy. People feel the weight of your expectation, and instinctively, they pull away. Not because they don't care, but because no one responds well to pressure. Attachment makes your request sound like a plea. Detachment makes it sound like clarity. Imagine holding something fragile in your hand. If you squeeze too hard, it breaks. If you hold it gently, it remains intact. Asking works the same way. Grip the outcome tightly, and the interaction becomes strained. Hold it lightly, and the moment stays open. Before asking for anything important, check your energy. Are you asking to express clarity or to avoid insecurity? Are you speaking from groundedness or fear of rejection? Are you open to truth or trying to control the response? The truth is simple. If a no destroys you, you are never asking. You are begging for approval. A grounded person can ask boldly and stay steady afterward. They can hear yes with gratitude and no without collapse. They can stay centered whether the world agrees with them or not. This steadiness makes people trust you more, not less. When you detach from the result, your communication becomes cleaner. You stop over-explaining, you stop performing, you stop clinging. Your presence becomes calm, confident, direct, and people respond better to someone who doesn't place emotional weight on their answer. Detachment invites honesty. Attachment pressures dishonesty. When someone feels you can handle the truth, they speak openly. When they feel you can't, they soften, avoid, or retreat. Detachment strengthens relationships because it allows space for real responses instead of forced ones. Let the other person feel your stability, not your fear. Let them feel your clarity, not your anxiety. Let them feel your confidence, not your attachment. Whatever the outcome, you remain yourself. You remain whole. You remain capable of asking again. With more wisdom, more strength, more calmness. The strongest ask is the one that stands independent of the answer, and the strongest version of you is the one who stays centered, whether the world says yes or no. Chapter 9. Handle no with grace and power. Most people fear no more than failure itself, because no feels personal. It feels like judgment. It feels like a strike against our worth. But no is rarely about you, and almost never about your value. A no simply means the moment, the capacity, the conditions, or the alignment isn't there. It is information, not insult. It is direction, not dismissal. And learning to hear no without collapsing is one of the greatest emotional skills you will ever develop. When people crumble at rejection, it's not the no that wounds them, it's the story they attach to it. They don't respect me. I shouldn't have asked. I'm not good enough. None of these stories are true, but they feel true when insecurity is in control. Emotionally strong people respond differently. They pause. They breathe. They stay grounded. They let the moment be neutral. Instead of interpreting no as a threat, they treat it as data. Was my timing off? Was my request unclear? Is this simply not the right person? Is this a message to refine, not retreat? A calm response to no strengthens relationships. When you remain steady, you show maturity. You show that you do not collapse under pressure, and you show that you respect the other person's boundaries. This builds trust, and trust is the foundation for future yeses. Picture two versions of you. One hears no and tightens. Voice shaky, emotions rising, defensiveness awakening. The other hears no and stays composed. Steady tone, open body language, calm acknowledgement. The second version is the one people respect. The second version becomes someone others feel safe being honest with. When you react poorly to no, people begin avoiding real conversations with you. They feel they must tiptoe around your emotions. They say yes reluctantly or hide their true feelings. But when you handle no with grace, you invite honesty. You invite clarity. You invite deeper connection. Grace is not weakness. Grace is emotional precision. It means you don't allow temporary disappointment to shape your identity. You don't let one closed door convince you all doors are closed. You don't let a single moment erase your willingness to ask again. A calm, "Okay, thank you for letting me know," can hold more strength than any argument. That sentence shows maturity, stability, and confidence. Qualities that elevate you beyond the moment. It signals that you understand something essential. Rejection is redirection. Sometimes the timing is wrong. Sometimes the person is wrong. Sometimes the opportunity is wrong. And sometimes the no protects you from something you didn't see yet. You grow by learning, not by clinging. You advance by adjusting, not by shrinking. You mature by asking again, with greater clarity and balance. Think of the countless times in life where a no eventually led you to something better, something more aligned, something you wouldn't have discovered if the earlier door had opened. A steady reaction to no is a declaration. I remain whole regardless of the outcome. I can handle truth. I am not defined by a moment. This inner stability makes you magnetic, because people trust those who stay centered. They trust those who don't crumble. They trust those who can hear truth without chaos. No is not the opposite of yes. No is simply an instruction. Not now. Not here. Try again. Try differently. Try elsewhere. Hearing no with grace is how you become unstoppable. Chapter 10. Become the person who gets yes. People don't say yes because your request is perfect. They say yes because you are someone they feel good saying yes to. A powerful ask doesn't come from fancy words or flawless delivery. It comes from presence, the energy, steadiness, and authenticity you bring into the moment. Influence is not built on technique. Influence is built on character. When someone is grounded, calm, and clear, people respond instinctively. They lean in, they listen, they trust. When someone is frantic, needy, or emotionally unstable, people retreat. Even if the request is reasonable, your presence is your persuasion, your energy is your credibility, your steadiness is your authority. To become the person who gets yes, you must first become someone who carries themselves with emotional maturity. That means you are not shaken by discomfort, not desperate for approval, not reactive when things shift. Others feel safer around someone who can regulate their own internal landscape. Clarity is another essential trait. People follow clarity because it reduces friction. When you know what you're asking for and why, your confidence becomes contagious. People want to cooperate with someone who moves with intention. Respect is also part of this equation. When you respect people's boundaries, time, and autonomy, they feel valued instead of pressured. And people naturally support those who make them feel respected. Consistency is another quiet pillar of influence. When your behavior is stable, your tone, your reactions, your communication, people trust you. They know what to expect. They don't brace themselves. They relax. And relaxation creates yes. Think of the people in your life whose presence makes everything feel easier. They don't force. They don't demand. They don't manipulate. They simply hold themselves with honesty and steadiness. And because of that, others willingly follow their lead. This is who you are becoming. You also grow into someone who doesn't rely on approval to feel strong. You don't need a yes to validate your identity. You don't collapse when things don't go your way. This independence makes your presence magnetic, because people sense you are whole, not seeking emotional rescue. Confidence without entitlement is one of the most attractive human traits. It's the reason people listen. It's the reason people trust. It's the reason people say yes. And perhaps the most powerful quality of all, you uplift the room simply by being in it. Not by trying, not by performing, but by being deeply anchored in who you are. When people feel better after interacting with you, calmer, clearer, steadier, they want to help you. They want to support you. They want to open doors for you, because your presence feels like a contribution, not a burden. This is what it means to become the person who gets yes. You don't force opportunities. You attract them. You don't demand cooperation. You inspire it. You don't chase approval. You embody respect, clarity, and calmness so fully that people naturally respond with openness. The world rearranges itself around the person who carries quiet confidence, not loud confidence, not performative confidence, but grounded, steady, unshakable confidence. Become that person, and yes, we'll start finding you. You've reached the end of this audiobook, but the real change begins now. In the moments when you choose to speak with clarity instead of silence, with confidence instead of fear, with calmness instead of pressure. Asking is not a performance. Asking is self-respect. Every chapter has shown you a different part of the skill. Facing fear, understanding your real needs, letting go of pride and ego, grounding your energy, speaking specifically, communicating value, choosing the right moment, releasing attachment, and handling no with grace. These are not tricks. They are ways of being. They shape how you move through the world and how the world responds to you. If you take only one idea with you, let it be this: you don't get what you deserve. You get what you ask for, clearly and calmly. Your voice is not a burden. Your needs are not an inconvenience. Your desires are not embarrassing. They are part of your humanity. And you have the right to express them. When you ask without clinging to the answer, you protect your power. When you ask with grounded presence, you earn respect. When you ask with clarity, you make cooperation easy. And when you ask with calmness, you open doors that force could never open. You will face moments of hesitation, moments where your old patterns try to pull you back into silence, moments where fear whispers that you might be rejected. In those moments, return to what you've learned here. Return to your breath. Return to your clarity. Return to your strength. A single honest request can change a relationship. A single moment of courage can change a career. A single act of expression can change the direction of your life. You're not defined by the answers other people give you. You're defined by your willingness to speak. So step forward. Ask clearly. Ask calmly. Ask without fear of the outcome. And carry this truth with you. Every yes you receive is a reflection of the person you've become. Not a stroke of luck, but the result of your clarity, your presence, and your courage. This is your next chapter. Go ask for the life that was meant for you.